Session for the 34th Guam Youth Congress is hereby called to order. Will all representatives please rise for the prayer? Representative Fortuno, you are recognized.
All right. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking you for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this session of the 34th Guam Youth Congress. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace, Lord God, as we make decisions that might affect the people of Guam, most especially the youth of our island. And continue to remind us that all that we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth, for the greater glory of you, and for the service of humanity. We ask these things in your name through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Representative Paz for the national anthem.
Test. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Representative Paz. Representative Fortuno for the Guam hymn.
Fanogita moru purita nota kontai matu nonya gitoru ilugat para i honra para i gloria abiba i islas en para i honra para i gloria abiba i islas en para todo i tiempo i paz para kita dan ginani langit na bendisyon. Contrai peligro na fan sofuam Deus protehi Island Guam. Contrai peligro na fan sofuam Deus protehi Island Guam.
Situus Masi, Representative Rachel Cho for the Inafresi.
Inafresi, gineni mastaculum gikinasoku, imastaculum gikurasonhu, zanimas figu nanina senyahu, huafresen maisazu, parabahu putehi, zanhu defendi, ihinengi, ikotura, ilenguahi, airi zanitano chamoru. Niren shoku, diretsu gininazu ustata, esti huafitma, gihilung ibliblia, zanibenderahu, ibanderan guahan.
Thank you. You all may be seated. Mr. Recording Secretary, roll call, please.
Representative Fortuno, Representative Laksamana, Representative Galindez, Representative Paz, Representative Nguyen, Representative Ramos, Representative Concepcion, Representative Mann, Representative Whitaker, Representative To, Representative Yang, Speaker Bench, Vice Speaker Cho. Madam Speaker, there's a quorum.
Representative Paz, you are recognized.
Madam Speaker, I make a motion to excuse members absent and not voting in this session today.
There's been a motion to excuse all members not present and voting. Are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, motion carries. With no items in sections 7, 8, and 9, the call for the approval of the legislative journal, communications, petitions, and messages, sections are waived. And with no business in items 10 and 11, reports of standing committee and select committees are waived. Representative To, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to add Resolution 7-34 relative to recognizing the Father Duenas Memorial School Navy Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps on their 50th anniversary to today's legislative agenda.
There has been a motion to add Resolution 7-34 to the legislative agenda. Are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, motion carries. Representative Paz, you are recognized.
Madam Speaker, I motion to adopt today's amended legislative session agenda.
There has been a motion to adopt today's amended legislative session agenda. Are there any objections? Hearing and seeing none, motion carries. Representative Cho, you are now recognized.
Madam Speaker, I move that all bills and resolutions on today's session are deemed to have their first reading.
There's been a motion that all bills and resolutions on today's session agendas be deemed to have their first reading. Are there any objections? Hearing and seeing none, motion carries. Representative Paz, your motion.
Madam Speaker, I make a motion to place Bill 1-34 as amended by the Committee of Health and Human Services and Gender Affairs into second reading file for discussion.
There's been a motion to place Bill number 1-34 COR amended into the second reading file for discussion. Are there any objections? Hearing and seeing none, motion carries. Representative Paz, you are now recognized.
Right. Good morning, everyone. So regarding Bill 1-34 as amended by the Health and Human Services Committee, it was first introduced back during our first session last year. However, we decided to refer it back to committee as there were some details that we wanted to address. So in the new version, we kept the definitions as is, defining sugary drinks as any drink or mixed drinks with added sugars, including coffees, teas, sodas, sugary beverages like that. But instead of our 16 fluid ounces restriction as our maximum, we decided to increase it to 17 now. The reasoning behind this was because at most restaurants, the serving size for a soda bottle is 16.9 fluid ounces. So instead of trying to restrict that bottle size, our main intention is to restrict like the much larger portion sizes, like the large bottles of King Car. This bill only affects beverages sold in food and drinking establishments, so sit-down restaurants, fast food joints, and other food vendors. This does not apply to mom and pop stores or like any convenience stores, and exceptions are made for vendors in a hospital setting. In addition, another reasoning behind this bill is because that we as consumers, we tend to consume items, especially sugary drinks, in the portions that we receive them. So our intention with this bill is that by restricting sugary drinks that exceed the 17 fluid ounces limit, we can decrease the amount of calories consumed by our people, by our islanders. And our intention is to improve health outcomes by reducing sugar and caloric intake. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Paz. Are there any members wishing to speak on this bill? Seeing none, you are welcome to close.
Yes. So to wrap it up, the only thing we amended was we increased it from 16 fluid ounces to 17 fluid ounces. And it is our intention with this bill to improve the health outcomes of Guam. And yes, you can see the attached file that I sent in the Google Drive. Yeah, thank you all.
Your motion?
Madam Speaker, I motion to place Bill 1-34 as amended by the Committee on Health and Human Services and Gender Affairs into the third reading file for voting.
There's been a motion to place amended Bill 1-34 to the third reading file for voting. Are there any objections? Seeing and hearing none, motion carries. Representative Concepcion, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Half a day and good morning, speakers, as my
Sorry. Your motion?
I would like to make a motion to place Bill number 3-34 COR into the second reading file for discussion.
There's been a motion to place Bill number 3-34 COR into the second reading file for discussion. Are there any objections? Seeing or hearing none, motion carries. Representative Concepcion, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Half a day and good morning, Madam Speaker, as well as my fellow representatives. Bill 3-34, written by Representative Mann and I, is a bill pertaining to our island's use of vacant buildings. More specifically, vacant government buildings. Every day we step out of our house, we more often than not see a vacant building. I'm sure we've almost all seen a government-owned building as well. For those from the South or who love to cruise down there, you may have seen F.Q. Sanchez Elementary in Umatilla. And for those who aren't too familiar with the South, you may have seen the old Public Health in Manila. Bill 6-34 allows for these vacant government buildings to be handed over to nonprofit organizations or our village mayors. This bill is intended to either help nonprofit organizations with outreach by repurposing these buildings or allow mayors' offices to use them for community centers.
Is there anyone who would wish to speak on this bill? Representative Mann.
Okay, I'd like to speak in favor of this bill. I believe that putting these abandoned buildings to use, or even just giving them the option to be used for good, is far better than just letting these buildings waste away. I believe that allowing nonprofits to utilize these buildings for good will potentially benefit our community. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Representative Mann. Are there any other representatives wishing to speak on this bill? Representative Cho, you are recognized.
I believe that Representative Concepcion's bill is a sound proposal that will help repurpose these abandoned buildings on our islands and put them to great use. I've seen these abandoned buildings around our island, and I've always wondered when they would be put to use or demolished. This bill is a great step towards solving this problem, and with the mayor's offices and nonprofit organizations being able to utilize these buildings, our community will definitely be able to benefit. However, I do have one question. These abandoned buildings will most definitely need to be renovated in order to function properly and pass health inspections. Would the mayor's offices and nonprofit organizations need to pay for this themselves, or do you have a solution for this as well?
Representative Concepcion, do you yield to the question?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you for your question, Representative Cho. Nonprofit organizations can receive grants at federal level as well as from our government itself, which will help them accumulate the funds necessary for renovating these buildings. As for mayor's offices and as well as the MPOs, this bill does not by any means force them to take a vacant building, but it opens up the door for them to use it. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Representative Concepcion. If there's any other members wishing to speak on this bill, Representative Fortuna, you are recognized.
Hi, sorry, I just want to speak for the record. Some of the buildings, or supposedly abandoned buildings listed in the bill, are technically already being prepared for usage again. So I know public health in Manilao, which was, of course, had an electrical fire issue over the course of the pandemic, is earmarked to become are earmarked to be transferred to the Guam Community College for their allied health nursing, or for their nursing annex for their allied health program, and as well as the FQ Sanchez Elementary School, I believe, is already in the hands of the mayor's offices, but is currently looking for or is currently working with the Guam Historic Preservation Trust to, as it is a preservation site. So a lot of the rules that come with using these buildings need to align with federal law. And so I believe this building is also being earmarked for a renovation sometime soon to become a community center. So I just want to make sure that this bill that we're passing does not touch on existing abandoned structures that are classified as historic sites, because we may lose out on an opportunity to gain federal grants in order to rebuild these structures. I know this very building we are here in today was at one point an abandoned building, but through time and effort, we were able to revitalize this structure. So I'm not saying that this bill could pose a risk in something like that being accomplished, where we end up receiving money and having to revitalize these structures again. But I just want to have that noted for the record, just so that we are aware of those instances. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Fortuna. Are there any other representatives wishing to speak on this bill? Seeing none, Representative Concepcion, you are welcome to close.
Just to touch on Representative Fortuna's statement, the bill will allow the mayor's offices and MPOs to access these buildings, but it wouldn't prohibit any ongoing processes or plans that are currently happening. Thank you, Representative Mann, Representative Cho, and Representative Fortuno. I truly believe Bill 6-34 is a step towards making big changes in our community. Providing nonprofits with more opportunities to help the community can benefit our island greatly. More community centers can have positive effects on our youth as well as our community. It can really bring us all together. Thank you.
Thank you. Your motion?
Motion to move Bill 6-34 into the third reading file for voting.
There's been a motion to move Bill 6-34 into the third reading file for voting. Are there any objections? Seeing none, motion carries. Representative Nguyen, you are recognized.
I would like to make a motion to place resolution number 4-34 into the second reading file for discussion.
There's been a motion to place Resolution 4-34 into the second reading file for discussion. Are there any objections? Seeing none, motion carries. Representative Nguyen, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So, good morning, everyone. And these past few months have been honestly pretty crazy. But to be honest, thanks to our frontliners, our healthcare heroes, our and federal partners and local partners, like the like outside help from like the Snohomish. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Snohomish like transmission line crew. They have worked tirelessly, help us to guide us through this really difficult time in our island, especially since it's been almost like 2 decades since the last major typhoon has hit. It could be understanding to it could be confusing to some, especially since we have a new generation that hasn't experienced a major typhoon like mine. I was born in 2006. That was way before Typhoon Pongsonghwa, which hit in 2002. So it could be pretty understandable that a lot of people may have been confused and stressed over this complex situation. But the combination of all of our of the employees and volunteers who have dedicated so much time and effort into helping our community grow and recover from this devastating event. Basically, it could have been a lot worse from from basic utilities, and also our heroes from the Joint Typhoon Warning Center and the National Weather Service. They've been really up to date with informing the public about these storms. And I think it's really important to mention that in our last session, which is in May 20th or sometime, that was, although we knew that there was a storm coming, we were unsure of how strong it was going to be, when it exactly was going to come, but it was really just in the back of our minds. But thanks to their urgent messaging, after the typhoon, our island, it came out with no deaths or major injuries, which is quite remarkable, because you'd see hurricanes hit the states and whatnot, and they would have massive fatality numbers and casualties and whatnot. But thanks to their prompt notices and warnings, people were able to get prepared, put their shutters up, get water, food, etc. And so this resolution really recognizes that. And meteorology is not easy. It's like a little hobby of mine. It's really really extremely difficult to predict and whatnot. And even before they sent out these warnings messages and whatnot, they have been tracking the storm like 10 days prior through like long-term models, which are even more difficult to predict. So that was always at the top of our minds, and it really gives us peace of mind into like we can trust these these forecasters. And of course, despite the adversity in what's going on like GDOE and whatnot, the employees have been really up to date, up top notch, trying their best to get our island's youth back into schools, even despite the issues that are going on. They're still trying their best, and they're trying to build a strong foundation for all of us, help us recover even stronger than how we were before. And also, I'd like to thank just the island community in general, neighbors helping neighbors and people checking up on their neighbors after the typhoon, like how my neighbors did, because we lost cell service. So every single act, of kindness, of respect, it goes for everyone, not just like our frontliners, but also to all of these citizens who, clear the roads or, helping the elderly or whatnot. This resolution goes out to everyone.
Thank you, Representative Nguyen. Are there any representatives wishing to speak on this resolution? Representative Fortuno?
Yeah, so first off, I just want to commend Representative Wynn for this amazing resolution. Recognizing our frontline workers is definitely something that we should be doing. We should be grateful for their efforts, for working tirelessly in some of them in 12-hour work shifts, just so that we could get a sense of normalcy after such a devastating storm. And I especially commend Representative Wynn for taking the time to commend and recognize our employees at the Guam Department of Education who, before the storm, worked hard to open shelters for people that are seeking protection from the effects of the typhoon. They definitely deserve our commendations, and it's good that this resolution tries to cover as much as we can in order to express our gratitude. But I do want to propose an amendment, and I believe I've submitted a written copy to this, or electronic copy to the speaker, but I'm going to go ahead and read it out for the body. I proposed an amendment on lines 4 to 7 on page 2 to read, whereas the heroes at the Guam Department of Education, the University of Guam, parentheses UOG, and the Guam Community College, parentheses GCC, have worked tirelessly in an effort to reopen schools safely. Despite the adversity seen in recent years, GDOE, UOG, and GCC employees have supported the youth of Guam, aiming to build a strong foundation for Guam's younger generations. I'll speak on the amendment after the motion goes through. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Fortuno. We're going to recess to get the amendment into the drive. Thank you. The 34th Guam Youth Congress is now back from recess. Representative Fortuno, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I made a motion. Did we? Okay, all right. I'm going to go ahead and speak on the amendment, open on the amendment. The amendment states basically we hope to also include some of the individuals, our workers at the University of Guam and the Guam Community College who have also worked tirelessly in reopening schools safely. I'm a UOG representative, so I can speak to the many challenges that our campus had to face in order to reopen for schools. As you know, we have international students and dorm students residing at the University of Guam, and the situation there post Typhoon Mawar was not easy for those students. The UG administration had to make adjustments, of course, so that they maintain that standard living condition. And Mawar made it difficult. The dorms did not have power, did not have water, did not have internet. So these people were literally disconnected from their relatives abroad. And so the university made strides to house them off campus. At one point, some of these students were residing in hotels in Tumon. But you know, those individuals that had to stay on campus to help rebuild and fix what was broken. I know the dorms was one of the more badly damaged parts of our campus. But anywhere, we had damages in the School of Business, in the College of Liberal Arts. So I want to commend those individuals too. The University of Guam also served as a staging place for a health fair for individuals in our community who were seeking checkups after the typhoon. And I also want to recognize the Guam Community College, which besides the fact that I'm sure they too suffered some damages post-Mawar, and we commend those employees that worked to fix things up for our students. GCC also became a staging place for FEMA, all these GCC opened its doors to our community in helping the people of Guam file disaster claims to help them get back on their feet and up and running. But it's these employees that made sure that these places are conducive for bringing members of our public in, despite the fact that they too suffered damages from the typhoon. And so I want to make sure that through this amendment, we are able to recognize and commend them as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Fortuno. Are there any other representatives who would like to speak on this amendment? Representative Whitaker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd just like to bring some attention to the customer service workers. I know a lot of the times when you think of the people who help bring like power back to the island and self-service and the like, you think of the people who work on the lines and that, but I think...
Sorry, Representative Whitaker. We'll deem out of order. We'll discuss when we go back to the main motion of the resolution.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other representative who would like to speak on the Fortuno amendment? Seeing none, we will now call to vote on the Fortuno amendment. All those in favor, please raise your hand. The Fortuno amendment is passed by our body unanimously. Back to the main motion. Is there anyone who would like to speak on this now amended resolution? Representative Whitaker, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Sorry about that. Anyway, I know people without power tend to get pretty irritable. I mean, especially me for 2 or 3 weeks. I can imagine the calls the customer service members at the GPA and Docomo and all these companies that are working hard to get power back to the island and self-service. All the angry customers and calls they get, and I've experienced with that. I used to work at a hotel, and I worked at the bell service, and I would get tips and thank yous and all that. And then I moved to front desk, and you don't get any of that, and you get a lot of mostly just complaints. And I think sometimes it's nice to appreciate them as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Whitaker. Are there any other representatives who would like to speak on the amended resolution? Representative Paz, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just wanted to express my appreciation and support to Representative Nguyen and Fortuno for introducing and amending this bill as we did, or excuse me, this resolution, as we did recently go through a tragedy, and we were all affected by it. But our people are strong, and our island is resilient. And the spirit of Inafamalek was very apparent in our community, and thanks to that spirit, we have mostly recovered. In addition to our frontline workers and staff, and education staff, I also just wanted to give a quick shout out to the youth volunteers that I served with at the American Red Cross, especially those from Harvest Christian Academy and the University of Guam. The efforts from our youth volunteers, including our representatives here today, made a difference. So just thank you again.
Thank you, Representative Paz. Are there any other representatives wishing to speak on this resolution? Seeing none, you are welcome to close, Representative Nguyen.
Okay, thank you. So I just want to thank everyone for your input, amendments, etc., especially Representative Fortuno for your amendment. We really truly need to also recognize the efforts made by UOG and GCC employees as well. So thank you so much. And really, the point of this bill was this resolution was just to recognize, their efforts and whatnot, and just the seemingly small things that we appreciate nowadays. Like yesterday, I went to a volleyball game. Of course, the power needs to be on. Of course, people need to be there. They don't need to worry about, repairing their homes or whatnot, or worrying about whether they have, service or water at their house, or if they're able to, even just get there by having enough gas to get there, since we had some distribution issues after the typhoon. And so even the small things, but even the bigger things, like this session, like we have the power on, we have the AC on to make us feel comfortable. We're able to gather here to make a difference for the youth of our island and everyone in general. And so I just want a very general thank you to all our frontline workers, all the employees, volunteers, and off-island help that came in to help us recover. And I truly think, despite the hiccups and the scars that the typhoon has made, especially with the school situation, that's really difficult, and also like the rolling power outages due to the damages sustained to the GIGO generator. So in general, despite that, I believe our island will be well on our way to recovery. And despite all the issues, we will pull through. And thank you to everyone for your input. And so I want to make a motion to move Resolution 4-34 to the third reading file for voting.
There's been a motion to move Resolution 4-34 into the third reading file for voting. Are there any objections? Seeing and hearing none, motion carries. Representative Toe, you are now recognized.
I would like to make a motion to place resolution number 5-34 into the second reading file for discussion.
There's been a motion to move Resolution 5-34 COR into the second reading file for discussion. Are there any objections? Hearing and seeing none, motion carries. Representative Toe, you are now recognized.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, I rise today to speak about Resolution 5-34 relative to recognizing the Father Duenas Memorial School on its 75th anniversary and commending them on their commitment to educating the youth of Guam. Representing Father Duenas Memorial School, I could not be more proud to speak here today and be a part of this incredible institution's momentous milestone as a student speaking on behalf of my school. Father Duenas Memorial School was established on October 1st, 1948, as a minor, seminary, and high school. Since then, thousands of young men have attended this school, forging a network of leaders, servants, and citizens who contribute greatly to their community. Graduates from Father Duenas have gone on to serve our island and country in the government, private sector, and the armed forces. I would like to thank the countless teachers, administrators, and alumni who have made Father Duenas Memorial School the center of learning it is today. Their commitment and contributions to the school have helped me shape the minds and intellects of Guam's future leaders. Father Duenas Memorial School is a place where creativity and expertise develop, learning prevails. This institution has shaped today's youth into tomorrow's leaders for the past 75 years and will continue to do so for many more years to come. Sizus Masi.
Thank you, Representative Toe. Are there anyone wishing to speak on this resolution? Vice Speaker Rachel Cho, you are recognized.
As a member of John F. Kennedy High School's AFJROTC, I'm aware of many benefits of JROTC in shaping and developing young minds. Every year, all the JROTC programs in Guam participate in field meets to test our physical abilities in a friendly competition. The FD field meet is something every cadet, especially cadets in my corps, look forward to. It's been my pleasure to work with them on several occasions, and every single time they deliver nothing short of exemplary. I would like to congratulate FDs and JROTC on their 50th anniversary and look forward to seeing them thrive for years to come.
Thank you, Vice Speaker Cho. Are there any other representatives looking to speak on this resolution? Seeing none, Representative Toe, you are welcome to close.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to reiterate my sincere and utmost congratulations to the Father Duenas Memorial School. Thank you. I motion to move Resolution 5-34 to the third reading file for voting.
There has been a motion to move Resolution 5-34 into the third reading file for voting. Are there any objections? Hearing and seeing none, motion carries. Representative Mann, you are recognized.
I would like to make a motion to place resolution number 6-34 into the second reading file for discussion.
There has been a motion to place Resolution 6-34 into the second reading file for discussion. Are there any objections? Seeing and hearing none, motion carries. Representative Mann, you are still recognized.
Okay, thank you, Madam Speaker. The purpose of Resolution 6-34 is to amend the standing rules regarding legislative minimum to reduce potential confusion. The current standing rules have some room for interpretation, which I and some other members mistakenly believe that co-sponsoring a bill or resolution would satisfy the legislation minimum. The standing rules state that each representative must draft or sponsor at least one bill or resolution that will be introduced and placed on the session agenda. My mistake was that I believe that co-sponsors also sponsor a bill, and I wasn't aware that sponsor corresponded to the main sponsor. I was made aware of this a week before the bills and resolutions were due, which could have been pretty bad for me, and it can potentially be bad for future members of Guam Youth Congress. Although I know now, I want to help avoid confusion in the future by amending the standing rules and add another sentence to clarify this, which states, for a representative to satisfy the legislation minimum by sponsorship, he or she must be the primary sponsor of said bill or resolution. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Representative Mann. Are there any representatives wishing to speak on this resolution? Representative Fortuno, you are recognized.
First off, I want to commend Representative Mann for this resolution. I've actually had discussions with Representative Mann towards that deadline in regards to the interpretation of that specific section of our standing rules. And although at first I saw things differently in the way the current standing rules should be interpreted, Um, I do see the intent with this resolution in order to just clear the confusion. I don't think it changes the interpretation of the rules, meaning with it saying that um, the primary representatives are expected to propose a bill or resolution as a primary co-sponsor or a primary sponsor of a bill or resolution. But I think Representative Mann's efforts in helping to clear the confusion for his fellow colleagues is very commendable. And I hope that with this standing rule, or with this amendment to the standing rules passing, we are able to create that expectation for the other representatives who are still working towards introducing their first legislation for the term, and for our incoming representatives after the November or the October special elections. So I want to rise in support of this resolution and thank Representative Mann for this. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Fortuno. Are there any other representatives wanting to speak on this resolution? Seeing none, Representative Mann, you are welcome to close.
Okay, so I'd like to thank Representative Fortuno. Um, so I think this bill will be potentially avoid. So this bill will, this resolution will potentially avoid confusion for future members of Guam Youth Congress, and I believe it will greatly benefit these members who may have been confused. Okay, thank you.
Representative Mann, your motion.
I would like to make a motion to move Resolution 6-34 to the third reading file for voting.
Thank you, Representative Mann. There has been a motion to move Resolution 6-34 into the third reading file for voting. Are there any objections? Hearing and seeing none, motion carries. Representative Toe, you are once again recognized.
I would like to make a motion to place resolution number 7-34 into the second reading file for discussion.
There's been a motion to place Resolution 7-34 into the second reading file for discussion. Are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, motion carries. Representative Toe, you are recognized.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, I rise today to congratulate the Father Dwayne Memorial School's Navy Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps unit on their 50th anniversary. The FDMS NJROTC Phoenix Company was established 50 years ago by Commander Charles E. White as the first Navy Junior ROTC program in Guam. Today, FDMS is the only private school with a JROTC program and is heavily involved in school, military, and community events. Students enrolled in NJROTC are taught integrity, respect, and leadership while abiding to the Navy's core values of honor, courage, and commitment. Additionally, several graduates enlist in our armed forces, attend the service academies, and contribute greatly to our island and country. Navy JROTC offers high school students a challenging new experience that offers many opportunities for cadets. As an officer in the Phoenix Company, I've seen firsthand the incredible work the company has been doing to help guide and foster students' goals while contributing greatly to the community. I could not be more proud to be a part of the Phoenix Company's long 50-year history, and I thank the student leadership, school administration, and naval science instructors for their commitment and dedication to helping uplift all cadets in this program. The Phoenix Company has forged today's cadets into tomorrow's leaders for the past 50 years and will continue to do so for many more years to come. Situs Ma'asi, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Toe. Are there any members wishing to speak on this resolution? Vice Speaker Cho, you are recognized.
I would like to apologize and clarify. I did speak on the wrong resolution, but I do not take back what I said. Thank you, and again, congratulations to FDs and JROTC on their 50th anniversary.
Thank you, Vice Speaker Cho. Are there any other members wishing to speak on this resolution? Seeing none, Representative Toe, you are welcome to close.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to reiterate my sincere and utmost congratulations to the Father Duenas Memorial School Phoenix Company. Thank you. I motion to move Resolution 7-34 to the third reading file for voting.
There's been a motion to move Resolution 7-34 into the third reading vial for voting. Are there any objections? Hearing and seeing none, motion carries. Moving on to legislative item 18, Representative Paz, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. At this time, I would like to motion to have second roll call reflect first roll call.
There's been a motion to have second roll call reflect first roll call. Are there any objections? Hearing and seeing none, motion carries. We're in a brief recess before we start the voting file. Thank you. The 34th Guam Youth Congress is now back from recess. We are now on legislative item 1819, the voting file. Recording secretary, please read the title for Bill 1-34.
Bill 1-34 COR, as amended by the Committee on Health and Human Services and Gender Affairs, introduced by Nathan Paz. An act to add in herein proposed add terms to section 23101 definitions and add section 23110 limitation on drink portions to chapter 23 of the Guam Code annotated.
Roll call with votes.
Representative Fortuno. Representative Fortuno, aye. Representative Laksamana. Representative Laksamana, aye. Representative Galindez excuse. Representative Paz. Representative Paz, aye. Representative Nguyen. Representative Nguyen, aye. Representative Ramos excused. Representative Concepcion, aye. Representative Mann, aye. Representative Whitaker, aye. Representative Toe, aye. Representative Yang, aye. Representative Vinch, Speaker Vinch, aye. Vice Speaker Cho, nay.
Bill 1-34 COR received 10 ayes, 1 nays, with 2 excused. Bill 1-34 COR is hereby passed by this body. Please read title for Bill 6-34.
Bill 6-34 COR, introduced by Ziani Concepcion and Billy Mann. An act to add section 66703, utilization of vacant government buildings, to chapter 66 of the Guam Code annotative, relative to the utilization of vacant government buildings.
Roll call, please.
Representative Fortuno, pass. Representative Laksamana, pass. Representative Galindez excused. Representative Paz, aye. Representative Nguyen, aye. Representative Ramos, excused. Representative Concepcion, aye. Representative Mann, aye. Representative Whitaker, aye. Representative Toe, aye. Representative Yang, aye. Speaker Vinch, aye. Vice Speaker Cho, aye. Representative Fortuno, nay. Representative Laksamana, nay. I think it's 2 nays, 8 excused, 8 ayes. Still passed.
Bill 6-34 COR received 8 ayes, 2 nays, 2 excused. Bill 6-34 is hereby passed by our body. Oh. Bill 6-34 received 9 ayes, 2 nays, 2 excused. Bill 6-34 is hereby passed by this body. Congratulations. Please read title for Resolution 4-34.
Resolution 4-34, COR, as further amended on the floor, introduced by Min Nugent, relative to recognizing the tireless efforts of frontline workers, first responders, volunteers, and recovery assistance personnel, and commending them for their dedication and sacrifice to restore essential utility services and livelihoods after the wrath of Typhoon Mawar.
Roll call with votes, please.
Representative Fortuno. Representative Fortuno, aye. Representative Laxamana. Representative Laxamana, aye. Representative Galindez. Representative Galindez excused. Representative Pass. Representative Pass, aye. Representative Nguyen. Representative Nguyen, aye. Representative Ramos. Representative Ramos excused. Representative Concepcion. Representative Concepcion, aye. Representative Mann. Representative Mann, aye. Representative Whitaker. Representative Whitaker, aye. Representative To. Representative To, aye. Representative Yang. Representative Yang, aye. Speaker Vinch. Speaker Vinch, aye. Vice Speaker Cho. Vice Speaker Cho, aye.
Resolution 4-34 received 11 ayes, 0 nays, with 2 excused. Resolution 4-34 is hereby passed by our body. Congratulations. Please read title for Resolution 5-34.
Resolution 5-34, COR, introduced by Kian To, relative to recognizing the Father Dueñas Memorial School on their 75th anniversary and commending them on their commitment to educating the youth of Guam.
Roll call with votes, please.
Representative Fortuno. Representative Fortuno, aye. Representative Laxamana. Representative Laxamana, aye. Representative Galindez. Representative Galindez excused. Representative Paz. Representative Paz, aye. Representative Nguyen. Representative Nguyen, aye. Representative Ramos. Representative Ramos excused. Representative Concepcion. Representative Concepcion, aye. Representative Mann. Representative Mann, aye. Representative Whitaker. Representative Whitaker, aye. Representative To. Representative To, aye. Representative Yang. Representative Yang, aye. Speaker Vinch. Speaker Vinch, aye. Vice Speaker Cho. Vice Speaker Cho, aye.
Resolution 5-34 has received 11 ayes, 0 nays, with 2 excused. Resolution 5-34 is hereby passed by our body. Congratulations. Please read title for Resolution 6-34.
Resolution 6-34, COR, introduced by Billy Mann, relative to amending the Standing Rules Legislation Minimum.
Roll call with votes.
Representative Fortuno. Representative Fortuno, aye. Representative Laxamana. Representative Laxamana, aye. Representative Galindez. Representative Galindez excused. Representative Paz. Representative Paz, aye. Representative Nguyen. Representative Nguyen, aye. Representative Ramos. Representative Ramos excused. Representative Concepcion. Representative Concepcion, aye. Representative Mann. Representative Mann, aye. Representative Whitaker. Representative Whitaker, aye. Representative To. Representative To, aye. Representative Yang. Representative Yang, aye. Speaker Vinch. Speaker Vinch, aye. Vice Speaker Cho. Vice Speaker Cho, aye.
Resolution 6-34 received 11 ayes, 0 nays, with 2 excused. Resolution 6-34 is hereby passed by our body. Congratulations. Please read title for Resolution 7-34.
Resolution 7-34 LS, introduced by Kian To, relative to recognizing the Father Duenas Memorial School Navy Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps on their 50th anniversary.
Roll call with votes.
Representative Fortuno. Representative Fortuno, aye. Representative Laksamano. Representative Laksamano, aye. Representative Galindez. Representative Galindez, excused. Representative Paz. Representative Paz, aye. Representative Nguyen. Representative Nguyen, aye. Representative Ramos. Representative Ramos, excused. Representative Concepcion. Representative Concepcion, aye. Representative Mann. Representative Mann, aye. Representative Whitaker. Representative Whitaker, aye. Representative To. Representative To, aye. Representative Yang. Representative Yang, aye. Speaker Vinch. Speaker Vinch, aye. Vice Speaker Cho. Vice Speaker Cho, aye.
Resolution 7-34 received 11 ayes, 0 nays, with 2 excused. Resolution 7-34 is hereby passed by our body. Congratulations. Before we move on to legislative item 19, we will recess for a short moment.
We are now back from recess. Back onto legislative agenda item 19 for brief extensions of remarks. Would any representatives like to speak? Representative Fortuno.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Buenas and Hafaday, fellow representatives. I wish to speak to the body and the members of our youth to express my warranted dissatisfaction on the news coming out of the passage of Substitute Bill 26-37, or the fiscal year 2024 Guam budget as it pertains to the University of Guam. You may have already heard that the senators have appropriated $27.5 million to fund UOG, which is a whopping $14.5 million shy of its $42 million budget request for fiscal year 2024. This gap is nothing short of alarming. In May of 2023, UOG students and officials alike came down to the public hearing room at the Guam Congress building to call for an increase in the legislature's commitment to higher education and to fully support UOG's fiscal year 2024 budget request. We highlighted the challenges such as faculty shortages, deteriorating facilities due to the lack of maintenance funding, and staff and faculty vacancies due to these reduced appropriations. Although we may have made our voices heard, it seems to them that it may not be enough. Letting them know that we have been forced to deal with not having enough classes that we need in order to graduate on time due to the lack of enough faculty to offer and teach those classes, it was not enough. Telling them about the staff and faculty vacancies that have remained vacant over the last few years due to the shrinking appropriation we have been receiving compared to what we have requested, that was not enough. Talking about our dissatisfaction with the old and aging facilities that we find ourselves in every day, in roofs that leak, in rooms with broken air conditioners, and in restrooms in bad shape, that was still not enough. Despite these setbacks, our university and its students choose to move forward. I, along with the UOG Student Government Association and the Guam Youth Congress Triton Caucus, remain steadfast in advocating for the interests of all 2,977 students attending the University of Guam. We continue to work with President Anita Borja Enriquez and the rest of the UOG administration in their mission to paddle forward as one institution, and we thank them for giving their commitment that tuition will not rise and remain flat despite this financial constraint that is imposed on our university. At the August 28th session, Vice Speaker Tina Rose Muñoz Barnes, Senator Joe S. San Augustine, and Senator Roy A.B. Kinata reintroduced an amendment to Bill 26-37 to support the university by providing an additional $3.6 million to fund faculty salary adjustments. Funding these adjustments would help retain and end the loss of professors at the university who blame the outdated 2002 salary pay scale for their decision and leaving in the university. For UOG students like me, this would mean additional course offerings, academic advisements, mentorships, and support that would help us succeed in our respective majors, disciplines, and careers. This amendment passed in a 12-3 vote, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank Vice Speaker Tina Rose Muñoz Barnes, Senator Joe S. San Augustine, Senator Roy A.B. Kinata, Senator Amanda L. Shelton, Speaker Therese M. Tarlahi, Senator Dwayne San Nicolas, Senator Chris Barnett, Senator William Parkinson, Senator Sabina Perez, Senator Telo Taitagui, Senator Chris Duenas, and Senator Jesse Lujan for supporting UOG and its students on this amendment. Although our fight for $42 million has ended, our fight for the university and its students continues. I will be introducing new legislation to fill in the gaps in funding for our university and help ensure that our students and our institution finally get the support in local appropriations that it deserves. As part of its budget request, the university called for an appropriation of $1 million to kickstart the long overdue maintenance projects for many of its facilities. I hope to gain the support of everyone in this body in getting this funding for the University of Guam and help put our students in classrooms and labs that are safe and conducive for higher learning. Our words and call to action should have already been enough for our senators. Although the fiscal year 2024 budget discussions have come and gone, we continue to ask for their commitment in fully supporting UOG, and I hope we can count on them once this body has deliberated and passed youth-written and youth-driven legislation to do just that. The Guam Youth Congress stands as a voice for the youth of our island. We undoubtedly stand with the students of UOG, and we will do our best to do the work of fighting for them in the months ahead. Undangkalan Suzus Maasi, have a great rest of your day, and Biba UOG.
Thank you, Representative Fortuno. I hear your concerns, and I look forward to seeing your work. Does anyone else have any other remarks? Moving on to announcements. Does anyone have any announcements to oh, sorry, Mr. Whitaker.
Thank you, Speaker. Hello, everyone. I would just like to bring to your attention a concern someone from Guam Department of Agriculture came to me with. Basically, the rundown is they've been trying to get cocoa birds and sea hecks from zoos in the States back to Guam. They've been doing this, they've been trying to do this since 2016. They've had a deal with Continental before it was converted to United, and even after that for a while. They would ship the birds through United relatively with a fair price, but recently United changed their policies. So basically that's been impossible since about 2018. There were a couple exceptions back in 2019, but the bird populations here on Guam and in the zoos in the States are declining. And at this rate, populations could possibly become extinct if United doesn't allow pets to fly on the airlines. I was talking to Jay about things we could do. I'm still working on that, but for now, I think it's good just to bring awareness to the issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Whitaker. Does anyone else have any other remarks? Now we're moving on to announcements. Does anyone have any announcements to share? Speaker Vinch, you are recognized.
Hafaday, everyone. A quick announcement that we as Guam Youth Congress are hosting our first ever town hall meeting on September 23rd at the Beneventi Middle School Library at 12 p.m. As Guam Youth Congress, we serve the youth, and in no better way can we do that by listening to our youth's voices, students' voices, getting our community out on Guam to make a positive change for the better for our island. We hope to see our entire community there. All are welcomed. And again, that's our town hall meeting on September 23rd at the Beneventi Middle School Library at 12 p.m. Sizus Masi.
Thank you, Speaker Vinch. Does any member wish to share any other remarks? Yes. Representative Nguyen, you are recognized.
So this next Saturday is going to be the 29th annual Guam International Coastal Cleanup, and so it'll be from 6 to 11, and it'll be hosted like a variety of locations. There's 23, which I won't name out because like, there's a lot. But if you want to register, it's on Eventbrite. So just search up like 29th annual Guam International Coastal Cleanup, and you have to register. You must register because if you go there unregistered, they'll unfortunately like. They can't have you volunteer. So if you want to be there, just go on to Eventbrite, and I hope to see everyone there too.
Thank you, Speaker Nguyen. Representative Nguyen. Does any other member have anything else? Representative Paz, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Speaker. At this time, I would like to make a motion to adjourn our session. Sorry about that. Vice Speaker, I would like to make a motion to adjourn our session subject to the call of the Speaker.
There has been a motion to adjourn. Are there any objections? Hearing or seeing none, we are adjourned. Thank you.